Awesome.
So next we do have Jack. Jack is the founder of Property Entrepreneur Network. I wouldn't go into too much. I'll let Jack introduce, kind of go into what he does. And over to you then, Jack. Let's make sure you're fine to go.
Thank you, Kadirat. So we lead Property Entrepreneurs Network. Like I said, it's a technology platform. If you work in property industry, it's a platform you must go and check out. It will help you. It's absolutely everything free at the front end of it, so you don't pay anything to use the platform. You can upload properties, have investors call you directly for absolutely free. There's social features. You can connect with investors. You can connect with other property professionals in UK. We are also launching worldwide features, so you'd be able to connect with other property professionals from all over the world in the coming months and years. And yeah, at the back end of it, we do debt finance. I'm a broker. My background is, I came as an immigrant about 20 plus years ago, 21 years ago. And initially, I mean, as any immigrant, I went through 20 plus jobs in a period of like literally 2 years. And then got to a point where I started working for a chauffeur company. And then after about 2-3 years, I started my own chauffeur company. We built that company from scratch to a team of 25 full-time drivers, which we sold back in 2014. And I'm a qualified financial advisor. I'm a qualified consultant. So I started consulting businesses on business development, so growing their business. This is back in 2014. I did that for about 3 years. But in the whole process, I bought my first BTL in 2003. When I was working very, very hard, almost like 16, 17 hours a day, I bought my first accidental landlord, you can call it. And I bought another one in 2007. And then I bought another couple more properties back in India. So even though I was running multiple businesses, I was investing passively in property since then. But then back in 2017 and 18, one of my best buddies, he was into developments. He had been running a hardware shop with his father, with his dad, as well as doing small refurb projects behind the scenes since the age of 16. So he had been doing that for 20 years. And in 2017, he was working on a project in London, a development project, building 8 units from scratch, a 4 million plus GDP project. And when he was working on that, I actually called him up and I said, do you mind if I come and shadow you and kind of get to know a little bit side of that side of the business? So I shadowed him for a few months. In fact, I actually was involved operationally as well as on the finance side of things. I was also an investor on board. Plus, I was, like I said, operationally involved in building that project in London. So that really gave me all the insight into property. But I always had this kind of way of looking at problems in any business and saying, how can I bring technology into the picture to solve any problems? So when I started shadowing him, and obviously learned the flips and everything else behind the scene, the HMOs. While I was doing that and I was investing with him on certain deals, I started investing in more projects myself. We did a flip deal. I also started using my previous BTLs in different ways, for example. But then the main thing that we started at the front end was the technology, using technology to solve the biggest problems, which most people in property industry face, is being able to find investors, being able to find their power team, reliable power team. And that's exactly the reason why I asked Claudine to tips on recruitment, to what she would look for example. So I think one of the biggest challenges that I find in property industry in UK especially is being able to find the right kind of people to work for you. And PEN actually allows you to do that, connect with the right kind of people. You can post jobs for absolutely free. You can connect with people for absolutely free. It has a social media aspect to it. So you can actually go on it and get registered and start connecting with investors, agents, all sorts of people within the property industry. So that's the angle that I brought into it. In fact, it's the world's first property focused social media platform. So there's actually none out there in the world. I did a lot of research on that. So yeah, that's what happened. But let me share with you one thing that I share with people, that I've seen days in my life when I came as an immigrant. I've seen days in my life when I woke up and I didn't even have enough money for breakfast. And I can assure you, as an immigrant, when you come to this country, it is tough. I mean, really tough. Okay. And I am just like any other human being, working really, really hard as well as smart. And if I can make it, anyone who's listening to this, you can make it, and you can really make it work. I mean, look at Claudine. She's done an amazing job there, right? We are all normal human beings like you. And if we can do it, so can you. All you have to do is focus and really commit, because things don't happen in a day, in a week, in a month, sometimes 2-3 years. Nothing happens. But then when it starts to happen, it really does start to happen for you. So having the focus, commitment, and the patience really, really pay you well if you just do it. Just do it. And that is what I've learned within my life. In fact, what Claudine covered is something that I was doing just before this meeting, which is changing the structure of the company that we have, and then kind of getting to a point where you hire slow and fire fast. Like I said, we have 26, 27 representatives around the country who work alongside PE and to grow the brand, as well as it's kind of a collaborative business model where we help each other out to get more deals done. So yeah, it's really about just focusing and getting stuff done and not giving up. Don't give up. If it works for Claudine, it will work for you. It works for Kadira, it will work for you. If it works for me, it will work for you. All you have to do is model or copy in some cases. All you have to do is, look at what one person is doing. One thing that I learned in the process is, and which is what I observe a lot of people do, is chase their tail. And with a lot of due respect. Yeah, that one day they're doing BTS, second day they're doing HMOs, third day they're doing sourcing, fourth day they're doing developments, fifth day they're doing something else, and sixth day they're doing Bitcoin. And you think, well, how are you going to become successful if you're doing 10 things? And this is a mistake that even I probably made in my early years as well. I was, the shiny penny syndrome, and, go where you see the money. It doesn't quite work like that. Gold is where you actually are sitting. All you have to do is look at your space more creatively and say, how can I monetize? How can I make it work for me? And another thing that I learned in the process is leveraging your strengths. Don't leverage on your limitations, leveraging on your strengths. If you look at Claudine, I think she's really leveraged well her recruitment skills. Okay. So learn to leverage your skills and learn to leverage your strengths. And that's what I did. I mean, I was good at finance because I've got finance background. So I do debt funding. That's my bread and butter. But at the same time, I've got consulting background. I was very, very strong operationally because we used to run a transport company, which requires very heavy operational skills. And I bring those skills into the existing business of building this platform. At the moment, the PE platform grew from nothing to a platform of 10,000 people network in a short period of 14 months. And that's operational skills coming in. So leverage on your strengths, don't leverage on your limitations. If there is something that you are working on, for example, and you find it challenging, find someone else to do it for you. Focus on what you are good at and play that part in your business. That is the key. And also, like Claudine again said, it's a non-stop learning process. You must, and this is something that right before the meeting, I was sharing with one of my colleagues here who's sitting with me here, and she's actually in the meeting here as well, Lavanya, that you literally have to sharpen your sword. This is something I learned from Dr. Covey in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you haven't read that book, you must. That you must focus on your personal and professional development. You must learn high income skills, which really pay well. Like Claudine, she's learned to recruit really good people. She's learned to leverage the network that she has. And that's what helping her monetize. And that's what I do as well. I'm very good operationally and creating a larger network and a larger community. And that's what I'm doing. So now that we have a large network, we're monetizing that network from different monetization strategies. So you must focus on your personal and professional development, especially your high paid income skills. And what I mean by that is, even if you focus on, for example, sourcing, focus on development, land and development sourcing or HMOs, they pay very, very well if you know how to source these deals. If you source one deal a week or even one a month, it can pay you 5-10 grand a month. But you must learn the depth of that skill. You must learn everything that is to be known in learning that particular skill you focus on. So learning high paid, high income skills is absolutely essential. Again, something I learned with experience and time. I got into personal development, and it's not about me. It's about how can you take this and apply in your life and your business. I got into personal development when I was about 25, struggling with my business, struggling with me personally, emotionally, I was struggling. And I got into personal development. I read my first book. And since then, I've just not stopped reading. I read at least, at the bare minimum, a book a week. And that's either reading or listening to Audible. You must polish your skills, non-stop reading, non-stop, improving your personal and professional skills, which is absolutely essential. And if you want to really kind of make it in property industry, and it is a harsh industry, I must say, okay? For those of you, if you think you're going to make it in 6 months, think again. It is a harsh industry, and it's going to take you some time to get the gist of the basics. Have your strategy very, very clear. Don't chase your tail. With a lot of respect, I'm saying that. Focusing on one thing and one region is absolutely essential. Making sure you do your research in your region. If there is 20 estate agents, this is something that I share many times. If there is 20 estate agents in your region, you becoming the 21st isn't really going to help you, okay? Finding a creative way to position yourself. Maybe you just work on HMOs, or you work on new builds, or you work on strategically positioning yourself well in your region is absolutely essential, which a lot of people don't do. There's 20 developers in the region, they become the 21st. There's 20 estate agents in the region, they become the 21st. How is that going to help you? That's just bleeding. Everyone is then bleeding, right? So understanding how to strategically position yourself as the go-to expert in your space, in your region, in your specific niche, again, it's a skill everyone needs to learn. All it takes is a bit of research. All it takes is a little bit of networking and understanding, and reading a couple of decent books. But yeah, just my thoughts on that. And like I said, I just came as an immigrant. I'm just, here. Again, like Claudine said, I love helping people. And if there's anything I can help you with, you can find me on pretty much all social media channels as Jack Dawhra. And yeah, more than happy to help anyone with any questions behind the scene. We do developments behind the scene. We do flips behind the scene. And a lot of technology and SaaS models. If anyone knows SaaS models, which is subscription-based models, we are creating one of those as we speak, which is the PEN network at the core behind the scene. And yeah, that's where we are. And if anyone is thinking, well, he started reading at the age of 25, he still looks young. I unfortunately do look young. I am not. I'm 40 at the moment. So it's been almost 15 years into focused personal and professional development that has brought us to this point, fortunately, with a lot of blessings. So yeah, thank you. I'm happy to take any questions anyone might have.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. We really enjoyed that. There are a few questions here. The first one, though, I think you had covered it, but I'm going to ask anyway in case you have anything else to add to it. The question is, how do you stay focused?
It takes 21 minutes, statistically proven, to come back into focus when you lose focus.
Yeah.
It's statistically proven. So I would switch off my phone. I would silent my phone. If there is something that needs to be done, it just needs to be done. If there is a reason once it's called a deadline. Deadline, that means you'd rather be dead than missing the line. There's a reason it's called a deadline. So if you need to, switch off your phone, silent your phone, close your room. I remember writing a book when I was doing consulting. In a matter of 7 days, 30,000 words. And that's closing the door behind me for 12 hours a day, 7 days, the whole week, and writing a book. So if you want to really focus, there's 2 ways I do it, which is, again, switching off everything, closing the door, getting it done. And the second way, which is a bit harsh way of doing it, but it works for me, it may or may not work for other people, is if you don't focus, think of it this way: you may not have enough money for breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what happened with me. I woke up one day and I didn't have money for breakfast. So for me to focus, I keep that in mind, that if I don't focus, I will not have enough money, maybe in a matter of weeks, months. Unfortunately, we are at a good position, but it can happen. Things can spiral down. So you've got to focus. Even if it means you psychologically create this framework of losing, but must. It works for me. It may work for you.
Okay, awesome. That's very good there. Very good tips, nuggets to take away from. Got another question here. This is actually 2 questions in one. Dak, how do you monetize your free property platform? And are you planning on making it a public company? So those are the 2 questions.
Okay. So far in my life, I've actually sold 2 businesses, both transport businesses. They were both small businesses. The first one was 25 part-time, 25 full-time and 22 part-time drivers. And then I sold another chauffeuring business, which was a very small one. But when I started PEN, the aim was to get to a point to have a listed company. Can I get there? That's another question for another day. I'm working very, very hard on that. But how do I monetize? So if you look at PEN as a business model, it's like Facebook, it's like LinkedIn. Everything at the front end is free. But let's say if you want to run an ad on the platform, you pay for it. If you want to, for example, join us as a representative, there is a lot of benefits of joining us as a representative. You obviously pay for it, but then you kind of buy into the whole model, and then you can build your own portfolio and your business as a representative. And then monetization strategies are like, we'll have a lot of traffic. We already have quite a bit of traffic on the platform, but we're looking to automate property finance. So practically, we're working on a model where you'd be able to go on the platform, apply for development loans, bridge loans online, and get agreement in principle online without actually having to pick up the phone. So we are monetizing traffic in terms of either finance, or monetizing in terms of ad space, or monetizing in terms of other means. There are other ways we are monetizing as well. For example, if you go on the platform and let's say one of our representatives who might be an architect, and you choose to work with him, we have collaborations behind the scene getting kickbacks from these power team members. So we have multiple collaborations in place with multiple power team members, builders, architects, planners, you name it, and we get kickbacks. But again, those kickbacks don't actually affect the front end charge. Basically, any company who exists normally would have a marketing budget, and we get a piece of that marketing budget from that company. So you don't necessarily pay more money. So those are some of the monetization strategies. There's actually more coming in the pipeline in the coming months and years. But like I said, everything at the front end of the platform is absolutely free. You want to get registered, you want to connect with people, you want to post jobs, you want to create events, you want to create groups, and there's many other things that you can use. And again, absolutely everything for free.
Thank you so much for that. And again, if you need anyone in your power team, like Jack said, you can just post it there. So it's a good way to find that missing jigsaw for that, puzzle, so to speak. Yes. Thank you so much, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think there's one more question. Let's have a quick look. The question is, how do you research the best strategy for a certain region?
A certain region?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say you want to start an estate agency and you check and there's already 20 estate agents in the region. Fortunately enough, for those who are listening to this, most people don't understand what strategy is or positioning is, okay? So you're gonna find that most of the 20 estate agents, or at least 19 of them, do everything. They do sales, they do lettings, they do new builds, they do HMOs, they do everything, okay? So fortunately for you, if you understand strategically positioning yourself as the go-to expert, then you would choose just one thing, which has the highest demand, and then you become the go-to person for that. So you could be the letting agent for HMOs, and you don't cover anything else. So you don't do sales, you don't do BTLs, you don't do nothing else. You become the letting HMO expert in your region. But that's gonna be based on your research of who is doing what in your region. That's just a simple example. But if you, let's say, are a developer, you want to start, you want to start to become, do developments, right? Start to do your research on what other developers are developing in that region and what's not being developed. Is there anyone who's not working on service accommodations, developing service accommodations? Is there someone who's not working on, bring some sort of uniqueness? The question is, how are you different from your competition? And I believe that anyone who wants to ever start a business, regardless it's a property business or any other business on the platform, if you cannot answer how are you going to be different from your competition, you shouldn't really start a business. Okay. So all it takes is a bit of research. All it takes is a little bit of networking around the local region to understand who is not positioned in a specific way, or what is the most demand in that region for a specific thing, and who's not covering. So if there's anyone not covering that, and then you go really hard on that, okay? And you create your personal and your professional brand based on that strategy. That's how you got to look at it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think there's one last question that's popped up. Maybe I should get let me try and explain what it means. So someone's asked, where do you get your software development team? I'm working on a remittance project and want to look into the right place. Okay, so again, a very, very hard process to go through. I remember getting my first website for our chauffeuring business back in 2007 and 8, if I can remember correctly. And I literally had to fly to India. Well, that's where my family is as well. But I literally had to fly to Mumbai to look for a team. I spoke with 3 different companies there. And I ended up choosing one, which was actually a wrong decision. So again, learning through the process. So then after that, I was sitting in London. I ended up, shortlisting a few companies in India again. Again, my background back in India, it helps me a bit. I speak the language as well. But I ended up shortlisting a few companies, ended up choosing one, which turned out to be the right decision the second time around. So they did quite a bit for me on the transport side of the business. And then I ended up choosing the same team for the phase 1 of the property business as well. But when I got to phase 2, I ended up choosing another company for various reasons. But you do have to go through a bit of pain to shortlist a few companies and try it out. Because unless you don't try, you don't know. So it's been a bit of a journey since 2007, like I said, till 2020, 13 years of using them on multiple projects. So going through the process, it does take a bit of time. You can find, pretty reasonably priced companies in some of the Eastern European countries. You can find them in Philippines. You can find them in India, for example. But those are the places I'd look for. Thank you so much. I think that's it in terms of questions for now. If you have any more, just leave it in the chat and I'll pick them up later.